I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember. It all started with the PlayStation. I'm 90% sure that it was bought for my older sister, hence the Mary-Kate and Ashley video game, but I used it way more than her. And surprisingly enough, I had good games, albeit very few. I was more than content with Pac-Man World and Spider-Man. This period was unfortunately short-lived. My Pac-Man World disc eventually stopped reading and I had no idea where Spider-Man went. Though fortunately for me, I was about to be surprised with something much, much cooler. My 6th birthday saw me get a brand new video game console, the PlayStation 2. This was a huge deal. The entire presentation of the PS2 made it seem like this isn't a toy, it is an entertainment device. Look at this, what do you think, I'm a baby? I'm 6 years old, I need something with a little more class. Beyond my own nostalgic attachment to this thing, it really is an outstanding piece of machinery. I own a PS2 Slim personally, and goddamn is this thing sexy. Here's my Xbox One, and here's my PS2. It's stuff like this that makes you wish I had a time machine. Why can't every console be this small? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Now, this may be an unfair comparison. The Xbox One is way more powerful than this thing. As a matter of fact, the PS2 was low power even by standards back then. But for some reason, people love this thing. It remains the best-selling video game console of all time. I mean, when you think about it, it's not really that far-fetched. You could play DVDs on it, and it had insane third-party support. It was nice because no matter who I hung out with, everyone had a PS2. We always had something in common to talk about, and I was always discovering new games that I wanted to buy. Speaking of the games that I bought, I don't know what was in my drinking water when I was in elementary school, but I was stupid. What was I thinking asking for the Over the Hedge game? These movie games really are a product of their time. Every single major animated movie release had a game come out like within a month after its initial release, and most of them were pretty freaking bad. The Incredibles, Chicken Little, freaking Madagascar, there was no escape from these. There are a few I remember having good things about them, but the majority were just terrible. The Madagascar game even had a full-fledged mini-golf game. Despite this, I suppose my parents were okay with the fact that I kept asking for the cheapest games though. In the same vein of these movie games, we have my collection of Nickelodeon games. Frankly, I have no idea where or why I got these. Like, come on, this Jimmy Neutron game might actually be one of the worst games I have ever played. And the Fairly Odd Parents game is such a fat meme, but the series Nicktoons Unite can be alright at times. I have two of these, the original Nicktoons Unite and the sequel, Attack of the Toybots. Now this one is alright, but it's also a piece of shit. Attack of the Toybots is way more polished, but the thing is, I would never go back to these games, ever, so who cares? That's the case with most of these games based on popular media franchises. Some of them have cool stuff about them, but most of it is so generic you never even think about going back to them. Now, I do have a few of these Nickelodeon games that are actually very fun, but we'll get to that soon. Now, these didn't make up the entirety of my library. I had other games that I enjoyed. I don't think I'm alone in saying that the LEGO games kicked ass. Me and my cousin used to play LEGO Star Wars all the time. I even remember him being disappointed that I actually 100%ed it, because he wanted to use a cheat code to unlock everything. The LEGO games were always really thoughtful with ways to keep you coming back. For instance, in LEGO Star Wars 2, on top of including a custom character creator, you can import all the characters you unlocked in LEGO Star Wars 1 as well. Playing as Darth Maul or Jango Fett in A New Hope was enough to scratch the dopamine itch in my prefrontal cortex. That's not even mentioning LEGO Indiana Jones or LEGO Batman. With each new entry, they improved, adding new quality of life features, taking out the few things that weren't that great. It's just a blast to run around and punch dudes. Kingdom Hearts 2. This game, as stupid and psychotic as it is super important to me. Not that I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan, no, God no. It's because for the first time in my life, I saw a video game that took itself seriously. What can I say, I had low standards. This wasn't some romp through some cartoon world. Yes, it was. It was an epic tale that I took way too seriously when I played it for the first time. Here's a game I stole from my cousin, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. I didn't know what this game was, but it was vaguely disc-shaped, so that was enough for me. Fantastic game that saw a number of sequels I never played. Pac-Man World 2. Apparently, one wasn't enough for me. The sequel saw Pac-Man World transition from a fixed camera to a fully maneuverable camera. This has got to be my favorite game I played from this era. To be fair, it seems a lot less inspired than the first game. Instead of creative world themes like pirates and spacemen, you get the snowy level, the water level, the volcano level, and so forth. The game also allows you to play a number of classic Pac-Man games. Sure, the original lets you play classic Pac-Man, but this one included Pac-Mania, Pac-Attack, and Mrs. Pac-Man. Here's some really popular ones: the SpongeBob movie game and Battle for Bikini Bottom. Battle for Bikini Bottom recently saw a remake, so people have been talking about this one for a while. I may be alone in saying this, but this game in terms of looks pales in comparison to the original. I don't know what they did to it, but the way it looks just doesn't sit well with me. Maybe it's because you have these updated models still rigged to seemingly PS2 quality animations, but who cares? This is about the originals. Mechanically, these two are the same game, with a few minor differences between them. They both see you collecting things via various tasks. Each world has multiple things to collect. You use what you collect in order to advance new worlds. Yada yada yada, standard collectathon stuff here. Where this game shines is in its presentation. Just the fact that I could walk around Bikini Bottom and go inside SpongeBob and Patrick's house was enough for me. And all the levels are based on locations from the show. In the case of the movie game, each level is based on a location from the movie. That's to be expected. What the movie game had that Battle for Bikini Bottom didn't was the inclusion of paddy wagon levels and slide levels. Since you're a lot more limited in what you can do with the paddy wagon as opposed to just playing as SpongeBob, you complete a time trial mission and such for extra credit. It works really well, especially since the levels actually change between different runs. All in all, two great SpongeBob games. World Series Baseball 2K3. This game kicks ass. You can make your own team, play against your friends, do this. I have really good memories from this one. I remember me and my brother just chasing each other around the field and me rage quitting because my dad kept beating me. Now that we're done with my childhood games, let's just take a look at some of the games I acquired after my PS2 heyday. Spider-Man 2, another game I stole from my cousin. This is generally considered the best Spider-Man game. It feels really nice to swing around the city. The physics are really satisfying. ATV Off-Road Fury. I did play this game a little as a kid, but my cousin came back to get this one. This game was sort of my semi-introduction to sandbox games. It has a training mode that lets you just drive around an open map. I latched onto this really quickly. All I did was try to jump onto this train and drive at the edge of the map because it does this. GTA San Andreas. A lot of people have nostalgia for this one, though I only got the game a few years ago. I've barely played it at all, but I cannot deny that it's so much fun just to crash into people and run from the police. Probably one of my favorite games in my collection, We Love Katamari. The gameplay is so mind-numbingly satisfying. They really hit the nail on the head with this one. The Katamari series as a whole is just so classic. I've never met anyone who had something bad to say about it. Just watching your ball grow faster and faster and collecting bigger and bigger items just makes your lizard brain happy. I hold my time on the PS2 in very high regard. These games, while mostly crappy, were the most fun I could dream of having at the time. It was how I connected with my friends, what I spent my time doing after school every day. Though maybe I shouldn't have stolen all that stuff from my cousin. I even use it pretty often today. I'm always looking for a new PlayStation 2 game to try out. Bottom line is, this thing is forever cemented as my childhood console. No matter what comes out after this, no matter how many terashits the new Xbox Ultra has, this little guy will always have a special place on my shelf. Thank you, and take care out there.